Veloce in Italian means quick, and in Europe, this specific car is called Veloce. To be precise, this is the 2017 Alfa Romeo Giulia Veloce, known in North America as the TI. Yeah, I know this is not the Quadrifoglio, but this is the I hope I sell a lot of folio, so let's see how it stacks up against the competition. What do you mean you don't know Alfa Romeo? Okay, quick history lesson. Alfa Romeo is part of the Fiat Group, now FCA, and in Europe, it's considered a brand that makes kind of affordable and very fun cars. Their cars are known to have a soul. Europeans say that in order to consider yourself a true gearhead, you must have owned an Alfa at some point of your life. Alfas, though, are also very well known for their horrendous reliability and poor build quality. The Giulia comes to the market as a replacement to the 156 and 159, which were Alfa's attempt to beat the BMW 3 Series, but they barely ever made it past the Audi A4. Now back to the future and into this car, which is rear-wheel drive, and it's the first rear-wheel drive car Alfa has made after the Alfa 75 about 30 years ago. And that's the biggest difference between this and the car it replaces, because the 159 was front-wheel drive. This one is equipped with all-wheel drive, hence the Q4 on the back, but it is a very rear-wheel bias system. It's built on the Giorgio platform and it goes by Giulia, so I'm surprised it doesn't have any tranny issues. Prices start at 52,995 Canadian dollars, but as tested, it is 61,790. That puts it over the BMW 330, Mercedes C300, Cadillac ATS, Lexus IS, and pretty much everything else in the category. So the stakes are pretty high here. It starts off pretty well, because just look at it. It's such a pleasant visual experience. It is a very pretty car and all the small details make it stand out. And I love this Monte Carlo blue color. Inside it is also really nice, and I really like the way the screen is integrated into the dash. Ergonomically, it is excellent, and fit and finish is really good too. Surprisingly good. Most importantly, the materials used feel like they're just on par with the German rivals. Roominess is great for the driver and passenger, and the sport bucket seats are amazing. Passengers in the back are less fortunate, as headroom gets really tight if you're close to 6 feet tall, and legroom is a little bit below average as well. And that huge drive shaft hump in the middle doesn't make things any better. Also, Alfa has not released an official number for trunk capacity, and you can see why. It is also on the small side. If I had to guess, I'd say it's not more than 400 liters, and the opening is pretty small too. So if roominess and practicality aren't its thing, then the drivetrain and handling must be. Under the hood, there's a newly developed all-aluminum 2.0-liter turbocharged four-banger that makes 280 horsepower and 306 pound-feet of torque. Made it an 8-speed ZF co-developed automatic transmission, it can hit 100 kilometers an hour in a claimed 5.2 seconds, although we measured it at 6.1. It completed the quarter mile in 14.4 seconds with an exit speed of 160 kilometers an hour. Now we're talking. It might not sound very thrilling, but it does pull, and it pulls really hard. I love that the drive mode selector is a mechanical knob, so when you pick dynamic mode over normal or advanced efficiency, it stays put. A great thing is that fuel economy won't climb much higher than 10 liters per 100 kilometers, even if you have a really heavy foot, so keeping it in dynamic mode doesn't hurt your pocket. Carrying lots of speed would mean absolutely nothing without the traditional Alfa nimble handling, and I'm happy to report that this thing is amazing to drive. The steering is super quick like a typical Alfa. The smallest movement has an immediate effect on the direction of the car. There are tons and tons of information that make their way through the seat to your butt, so the chassis communicates really well what it's doing. The steering doesn't really do that, feels kind of artificial, but the brake pedal is even worse. As far as I know, the brake pedal is electronic, meaning it's a computer that applies the brake pressure for you, and it's not smooth at all. However, if you're stuck in traffic, you can just leave it up to the adaptive cruise control that supports stop and go mode, and that works really well and makes the ride really smooth. Once you hit the back roads, this thing really starts to shine. They've used a carbon fiber drive shaft to keep the car light, which it is, and with a near perfect weight distribution, handling is really good. The suspension layout is perfect, double wishbone in the front and a multi-link setup in the rear that Alfa calls the Alfa Link design with vertical rod link, which apparently is patented. The car is really playful. It has very aggressive torque vectoring control. It enjoys being thrown into corners at any speed. And there's also a performance package available which is quite affordable, and it includes a limited slip diff and adaptive dampers. The only disappointment for an enthusiast that will buy this car is that you have no control over the stability control. There's no button to kill it. It will let you go a little bit sideways, but not too much. Finally, I need to point out two things. First of all, the suspension is very comfortable for the sportiness it offers, and B, this car comes with really good standard equipment, which includes a remote starter. That's a victory over the Germans right there. So to summarize, this is a very pretty, quite expensive, really sporty, tight sedan that certainly won't appeal to everybody, but will surely receive love from within the enthusiast community. After all, it's an Alfa, and that's what Alfas do.